Good afternoon, everybody.
Good morning or good evening, wherever you are.
This is Rockin The Love
I'm
with
Robin.
and Gil. Here on New Thought Media Network, we are so glad to have you here today on this beautiful Wednesday. What day is it? The 16th already, right? Of February.
It is.
Woo!
It is. Did you know that tomorrow is National Random Acts of Kindness Day?
That's rather random, isn't
It's rather
it?
okay. Great. Hopefully nobody's arrived yet.
Nobody's
Anyway,
listening. That's good. We're good.
So here we are. You know what to do if you're new, and we'd appreciate it very much. We'd love it if you liked our channel, if you liked us on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching from. And that helps us out a lot. Put it in the chat who you are and where you're tuning in from so that we can say hello and hear your voice in the room, so to speak.
Subscribe, like, say hallelujah, whatever you need to do. We'd love to join in part of our show. Excuse me,
Have you been drinking?
hiccup. But again, it's noon. It's good.
So it's cocktail hour somewhere.
Cocktail hour here.
All right. So today our topic is the energy of love. But before we get there, I wanted to backtrack to last week because we had a great show last week with your grief doula, Bonnie Gonzalez, who actually started her new show on New Thought Media Network on Monday. And we had some great feedback from that show and some questions. So I wanted to just answer them here in case the person that was listening is listening. They asked, how do you get through your loved one's stuff, going through their belongings and things like that after they're gone?
And this is a very interesting question and a hard question, I think. And all of us face it at some point in time. And so it made total sense that would come up with our show around grief and how that relates to relationships, because now you're walking into a relationship that feels like it's over, when in reality it is just transitioned to something new, but we have to grieve what's gone. Yes. So what did Bonnie say in terms of that?
So we talked to Bonnie, and what she said, that it's a really common question, and she said one of the most important things is don't do it before you're ready, because sometimes people have a time limit on it or think I got to do this now, or you're trying to move the belongings somewhere else. If you need to put them away for a while, whatever you need to do, don't do it before you're ready. She also gave some great tips, like depending upon what your feelings are, have someone with you. Invite someone that you can turn to and talk to, or that'll just hold your hand or support you in going through the stuff. And it could be a family member. She also said you can make it a really sacred event, and you could have your family members there so that you reminisce and you tell stories and you celebrate as you're going through the stuff. Were you going to add something?
No, I was going to say, it could be someone who's also been close to that person, or it could be someone who's totally outside that circle. Just there to support you, period. But I think anytime you can share with people and talk about what's coming up, talk about your memories, maybe remember a few of the times that were a little bit on the more lighter side, it helps in the process, because you remember what joy you had with this person. So,
right. And I think, that just brought me back to what one of the viewers said last week, Linda, about in the Jewish tradition where they sit Shiva for a week after someone dies. And when they said that, I was thinking, it's so great, because for a week you get to talk about the person as opposed to them just being gone away, so you get to really be with the stories and learn, and it doesn't feel like an ending. It really feels like a circulation.
Which brings us to today, I think.
Nope.
Nope, not yet. Okay.
No, because I really wanted to touch on what Taj uh, asked in the questions and said. This person said that they had lost fi- 5 people to suicide, and um, their message was, please make sure that if you're feeling that way, that you reach out to someone if you can, if and talk to somebody. And his message to others was, if you have any inkling or any idea that someone's going through something like this, you make sure to reach out or make a call or connect. And I think that brings us to the energy of love, because it's really, that's what you're doing. That's what
Hmm.
we're doing. So I don't mean to be somber and serious, and yet it is. So just some words of wisdom from our viewers and from Bonnie and from all that good stuff. And I think it just supports us in loving better and loving deeper. So
And
now,
and why do we talk about all these things from people from our show? Because this show's about you. This show's about all of us. It's about walking in the world and figuring out how we maintain relationship in the world. And today's the energy of love is kind of interesting, don't you think?
yeah, I do. So yeah, and so where have you rocked the love this week, Mr. Olmstead?
Where have I rocked the love?
It's a big.
Ooh,
It's the traditional love rocker week.
love
So
rockin'
you're
week.
pretty safe this week.
Ah, well, I uh I helped my godson pick out a couple of Valentine's things for his mom, particularly steak. That seemed to be the bigger one. Uh, I made it a point to get a couple of cards and share a card and a little flower with my wife. And didn't I? Did I do that?
Yes, Gil.
Okay, I'm checking.
I'm gonna kill you.
How else did I rock the love? I don't know. How else?
I don't know.
How did you rock the love this week?
I think I mostly rock the love when I'm with little kids. I think being with little kids, just being in the, I pick up little kids to take them to their drama and dance class and stuff, and just being in their joy and their fun, and talking silly things with them, and which aren't always silly. Sometimes they're very not only educational but philosophical. It's like, yeah, if we could only remember those little tidbits as adults. Um, yeah, so I just think that's where my love energy was most heightened this week. So, what is love? What is love? When
Mm,
we say the energy of love, what does that really mean?
that is, yeah, what does it really mean? Well, people have very different thoughts about that. Obviously, people think of love and they think romance and blah, 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 blah. Okay, that may be one piece of it. But there's so much more. There's so many places where we can love. Um, Making dinner is an act of love. Cleaning out the car is an act of love.
I didn't ask for an act though. I asked what is love. I get that, picking up dog poop can be an act of love, but what is love?
So you're bringing us back to our topic.
Go figure.
Love is energy. Is that what you're thinking? I'm just asking
I,
because I think you have something in mind here,
I
and I don't know
don't.
what it is.
I don't.
Oh, come on.
Marital moment, folks. As you can see, we do not pre-plan, and actually might be a problem today. So, no, just what do you think it is? How would you describe it to somebody? I mean, it's, yeah, I do think it's an energy. I think it is, a heightened energy, and I do think also it can be between um 2 people or more people, 3
Groups of
people,
people.
groups of people. but I think um I think it's more than that. And as you can see, Donna has an opinion here. She says, love is God and what we are made of.
Hmm. Hmm. See, what I was going to say was, I said those things that were acts of love because I don't know how to describe it. The way I describe it is in how I see it showing up. And I'm not sure that's the best way to describe it, but that's one way to describe it for me, is the way I identify that it's love. And what is it? It's the selfless giving, the honoring of someone else. It's those things. And where does that come from? Well, it comes from our nature, I believe. That's who we are, who we want to be, who we want to express.
Yes. Yes, Donna, we agree with you. Relationships are a different thing. Clearly, you just saw that. But welcome, Donna. But yeah, I mean, they're okay. So love is an energy. So and it is been said to, and I believe that it's the highest vibration there
Mm.
is. It is the highest vibration of any energy that there is. And I mean, it's something that we all understand it, right? I mean, even though we all may describe it differently, we all understand it. And so, I mean, it is in our energy field. It is it's like an unconscious
Hmm.
thing in our energy field somehow. You know, we come out of the womb knowing how to love.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely. We show up with that, and I think often we find ourselves um, finding ways to hold it back rather than let it out, because we learn, in different ways from in different points in our life that perhaps it feels like there's a shortage of love, so we're trying to hang on to it. There's a shortage of feeling that, and it's a feeling. Now, if it's really what you say, and energetic at the highest vibrations, then wow. Then when we're without that, that's a huge thing. When we feel like we don't know where that is in our lives, that's a huge loss. Like right now, I feel like I'm missing a little heat, and my hands are cold. But if I was to lose that much vibration of love, I think I would be very, very much different feeling.
It's true. Um, we're going to get to what you're saying, Donna. I just want to share this. That uh, David Hawkins says, love is misunderstood to be an emotion, actually. It is a state of awareness, a way of being in the world, a way of seeing oneself and others.
A state of awareness. What are we aware of in love, you think? What do you think he's saying there?
I think it's sort of like what I was saying about the conscious field. We're aware of those, for me, it's like a warm and fuzzy feeling. And it's the reason we decided to do the show. We started talking about what are things we love,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, remember that.
And we haven't shared what those are, but Gil did share one saying, when I touch your back,
Mm-hmm.
or something, when I rub your back.
Mm-hmm.
So when I rub your back, whatever that does for you, it gives you that feeling of like, will you say what it does for
There's
you?
a feeling of literally knowing somebody's got you, somebody's there, some that you're held by something. Um,
You feel
I think,
safe,
yeah,
taken care of.
yeah. I think it's what we feel when we come home, and somebody's there, even just somebody's there. There's that feeling of safety and beauty that you walk into. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Donna says the same thing basically, that we are made of that vibration. The fuzzy feeling is in the giving of it.
Mm, mm. So is that what butterflies are? All that energy moving around in us of love?
I think that's some of it.
Yeah, because where do we get butterflies? We get butterflies. I get butterflies when I'm standing in a on a trail in a forest, looking through the trees out past to the view, and I can stand there and I can feel the butterflies. I can do it at a sunset. I can do it in places where that you feel the largeness, the hugeness of life and what is. And I think we find that in relationship and in our relationship with our planet and with everything else, with our spirit.
Yeah. And Donna said, isn't that security?
Mm.
Talking about, that feeling. But
It's a feeling of security.
well, yeah. And I mean, isn't love what we all strive for, of something, of someone, from somewhere? So that is security. I mean, if I know I'm loved, like if I have a bad day and I know I'm coming home to this house we live in filled with love, at the end of the day it doesn't, I can let the other things go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's security in the sense of, anyway, I think it could get misconstrued if we didn't explore that more. But for purposes here, I think you're right on.
Yeah. So yeah, so we also started, we were talking about what we loved. What, say a few things that you love.
A few things that I love.
Yeah.
I love riding my bike. I love tinkering. I love things that I can figure out. I love, uh, sometimes I love my list of things to do when I get to check them off. That's very fun. I love animals. I love our dog Dodger, who's been gone for a while, and yet I still love him. I love Emma, who's with us now. I mean, I love having dinner with the family. I love I love the fact that we have grandkids, and I love them.
So when I think back to, I mean, those are great, and yes, I love some of those things too. And when I think back to like the things I love, like one of the first things that came up for me was like our first date, and and things like that. And then it made me think it into like um how we were, how you are in the beginning stages of a relationship, and like it's almost like a drug, right?
Oh,
I
well, it
mean,
is.
you're right.
If you talk to our friend Regina, it is. It's a drug, no question.
You want to say more about that?
Well, just that there's we all know, we all, I think as adults anyway, we often joke about kids going through puberty and the hormones and all of that stuff, and yet that's exactly what happens to all of us at some level, particularly in a romantic relationship. There's all of a sudden all this stuff that's released. On the other hand, that's the same thing that happens when I ride my bicycle, is the endorphins are released, so it's related. It's related to things that stimulate our bodies, stimulate our minds in ways that make us happy, and then the drug gets released, and that makes us even more happy.
True. Yeah, and when I think about those times though, that like it overrode everything. It overrode everything. You just got goofy and silly, and it didn't matter because, okay, I'm gonna age myself, but we talked on the phone. We didn't text. We'd call on the phone and we'd talk for hours, or we'd
let me
be.
let me explain how dumb it makes you. When Robin and I first met, I I had to go somewhere. And anyway, I lived in Southern California at the time, and I was coming across from Monterey to the 5 and heading on down to LA. But when I got there, excuse me, I wasn't heading to LA because I lived in Northern California. Scratch that. I'm confused now. I was heading back north to Northern California. But when I got there in the middle of wherever that is on the 5, I turned right instead of left and I headed south, and I drove to Robin's house and I snuck in her house and I said hello and gave her a kiss at like 2 in the morning, and I had to get in the car and drive back because I had to go to work. Now, that was
It was
in
a
no way
5-hour drive.
it was in no way an intelligent thing to do or a thought out thing to do.
And he lost his job after that. But we don't advise this, kids. Do not follow this.
Do not try this at home.
I thought you were going to tell the story. One more story, then we'll go to break. I thought you were going to tell the story about he was driving a bus, and so he had a bus route that he drove every day, and at one point he stopped the bus and he looked up and he had passengers on the bus, and he was in front of his house, and he was like, oh, sorry. He had totally gone off the track because he was so busy thinking about me and us and whatever he was thinking about.
Luckily, my house was really close to the bus route, but it wasn't where I was headed with the bus.
Nor was it where the people were headed.
And they were rather humored by it all, luckily.
So love can get you off track, or can it? Again, another show.
The energy of love.
Yeah. So we're going to continue with more about that, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, Donna, for all those thoughts. I love it. We'll be right back on New Thought Media Network. Hello.
Hey, everybody. How are you? We're back. This is Rockin The Love with...
I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. And we are discussing today the energy of love. And so I wanted to share a little something that I found today. I found a short little article about a newly married couple. And what's significant is that these two are from different parts of the country, and they were both enrolled in school online and met in a class and got married. Although there was some in between time. But what's interesting is their comment about it, and that is, we were not looking for each other, but we found each other. And I thought, isn't that the energy of real love? It shows up. It shows up where you are. when we are being authentic, when we're being ourselves, and the energy of love is present. And have you ever been where you thought somebody was trying to be loving? Like they're trying really hard,
Yeah.
but not me, someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can tell when it's not, but when it's authentic, it just surrounds. I mean, that's why when the puppy comes up to you and licks your face, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
you just know it's just love.
Right.
So Linda talks about feeling the sensation of love. Thank you, Linda. Good to see you. And if I'm paying attention, I usually feel it in my heart, just like all the songs say. Sing me another silly love song, right? My heart feels bigger, warmer, sweeter. And that's that feeling that just shows up. That's just when you know the love is there. It is that energetic of love for me.
Well, and I would say too that and it's contagious, right? Because you don't even know if, like, when I'm in love, I don't. I'm not even fully aware of what is happening through me, but other people are like, "Oh my God, you're glowing, you're funny, you're this, you're blah," whatever they see, it like becomes this outward thing. But do you want to say anything about that?
I was just going to say, and that, and again, that thought that we put that in the box of being in love with someone, and I see that with people in love with what they do, in love with um, with a group of people that they work, that they're doing something with, or they have a vision together, that that can show up in the same place, in the same way, rather, a similar way. Maybe I should put it that way. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what makes it fun. That's what makes your job or your friends or whatever. Like when you go out and you have those great nights, or times out, and it's that connection,
Right.
that passion flowing through you, right? And and I'll tell you, I went to make up a list of things that I love just so that I wouldn't, if he asked me what I loved, which he hasn't, but if he asked me, I would have some because I was afraid, like, oh God, what if I don't have anything? What if I can't think? And and I sat down and I was like, I couldn't think. I mean, I could think of my family and my friends and little things and I mean, not little family and friends, big, 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 but things that I'm more sure of. And but then I couldn't. The little things didn't come to me, and I was like, oh my God, I I don't love anything. And I realized in that moment, like, how important it was even just to be connected to those little things. So I sat a little longer and I asked Google for help, and, and I read someone else's list and I was like, oh yeah, I love a lot of things. And then of course I couldn't stop writing. But I mean, like ridiculous things. Like,
Please share some more.
oh,
What do
thanks for
you love?
asking. Um,
I'd like to know.
Pumpkin pancakes
Pumpkin. I know that actually.
with chocolate chips.
Mm.
I love uh, walking on the beach. I love the ocean and the beach and just listening to the waves, things like that. But that wasn't my point. And now I think I've forgotten my point because you asked me. Um, what I oh well, we can talk about that. But what I wanted to say was, um, this is almost like our topic last week of grief, because
Mm.
in talking about grief, we mostly talked about death
Ah,
as opposed to loss. And in talking about the energy of love, we're mostly talking about relationship
like with a
and
particular person,
with a
relation.
person,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think there's more.
Mm.
I mean, because like the healing love, the healing energy of love, that's a different thing than being in love.
Is it? Yeah, it's a different feeling. Yes, it's a different feeling, but healing love will lift you and I don't even know how to say it. But when I felt just that presence of someone holding me in healing love, it transforms how I'm feeling in the moment. It does touch me deeply. I don't know. Is it like the difference between driving your sports car and driving your SUV? They both are great and get you places, and you like different things about them, and they're both about the same thing, transportation, but they're not the same.
They're not the same. One's a little sexier.
Yeah,
right. I mean, one's a little sexier. And so that and that one gives you a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you're in the sports car, you're a little sexier. You're kind of fun. You're kind of spontaneous. When you're in the SUV, you know, you've got tools. You're the man.
Got somewhere to go, something to do.
Yeah,
to pick up.
You're on a mission, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, but I think about it with like healers, you know, like body workers, healers, people that really send their love through their hands, you know, and things like that. You know, they're not necessarily in love with everybody that lays down on their table, right? But
in love, no, not in love.
So, but their mission is still about love and
but
passion.
They are loving every person that's on their table. They are sharing love through their hands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bonnie says, love the smell of a newborn baby. Love the idea of love and being in love. Loving something and being in love are two different things. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yes.
So, can I share a quote about energy and love and how it all fits together?
I'd love for you to.
Would you? Okay, very good. Albert Einstein, folks. Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. I think that's where the whole energy of love is that it's not a theory, it's a reality. That's how the universe is set up. That, as you said earlier, that there's a vibration, there's a something that we feel in ourselves, something that helps our cells move at the right pace, something that helps our body heal itself, all these kinds of things in the energy of what's being exchanged in love.
Yeah, and I think let me ask you out there, Donna, Linda, Bonnie, whoever's out there, John, what is so then I think my question becomes, well, let me ask a different question. Are we more productive than when we're in love? Are we more in love when we're in love? Are we more passionate about everything? You know? And what are the how do we, the next question, the follow-up question is, and how do we get there and how do we stay there even after it's different? Like one of the qualifications for me to say yes to marriage, and I said to him, do you promise me that we won't fall out of love, that the relationship will continue to be exciting?
It will always be romantic, I think are the words.
Are the words I use.
Yeah.
It will always be, yeah. I just didn't want to put you in an awkward spot. But will it stay? Are you committed to making it stay romantic? Because I didn't believe that it goes away. I didn't believe that it had to go away, that it had to change. I mean, of course it changes because you know each other, but that it had to be that different, you know? So how do you keep that going? How do you, or is it keeping it going, or is it starting it anew, or is it recreating, continuously recreating? I think it might be continuously recreating.
I think it's accessing that love within. For me, it's about constantly finding the way to love myself enough that I can love you, and that I can love my work, that I can love what I'm doing. Because whenever I have that's the biggest block to my being able to be present. And I think if I look around the world and I look at people, to me, that's what I see so often.
Yes. Bonnie says, shares a Hafiz poem with us. The sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Love at what happened. Love is what happens with. Wait. Look at what happens.
Maybe that's it.
Look at what happens
with the love like that. It lights up the whole sky. Can you love someone without having any expectation? Okay, that's the second part of my comment. In the sense that I can go through who I am and loving myself, but it's when I can let go of the expectations that I try to put on others that I can honestly love them as well. Does that make sense? Because love happens. But if I'm expecting something, if I'm trying to make something happen, if I want something specific to be there, then I'm missing the love boat, so to speak. For all of you that might remember. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's a good question. I mean, I think I do think I love without expectations. I do think that's true, but I wasn't going to get married without expectations. But I do. I mean, and I would have continued to love Gil, but I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. And like, where do the expectations in relationships? Well, clearly, expectations in relationships can be are on some level are either what makes them or breaks them, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Expectations are what make or break anything, any relationship. If I expect that money is going to make everything in my life perfect, then I'm going to end up with a lousy relationship with money, because it can't do that. That's not what it is, right? If I expect that you're going to make every problem in my life go away because you're my partner, or I expect you to do anything else, then again the relationship is going to break down, because that's unrealistic. Generally speaking, when I put an expectation out there, I'm trying to make something happen, and that becomes not possible. For me, that's how I see it. What do you think?
It's so complicated.
Really?
For such a simple thing. I mean, for something that we all, this is my opinion, for something that we all, as I said earlier, come out of the womb doing instinctually, it becomes so complicated. And I know that that's the humanness of it, but I just think it's complicated. Love's complicated.
I'm not sure if we talk about love and we see it as an energy, it's not really complicated. Complicated is what we lay on top of it.
The expectations.
Yeah, that's the stuff we lay on top of it. That's not the energy of love.
Yeah, right, correct. It's the expectation and each of our individual interpretation of love, and damn Hollywood for making those movies that show us all those things. And as women, as forget it, don't write to me about it. As as me, growing up and seeing images and having that become, my equivalent or my expectation or my, you know, how I would know when it was right, kind of thing. That gets complicated.
Yeah.
It makes me think we should go to break.
Okay. I think we should uncomplicate things. We should go to break. So, folks, you have been with us here on Rockin The Love. We thank you so much for being here. We're going to come back. We've got a couple more things to touch base on, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Take a minute, go and subscribe to our channel. Check out New Thought Media Network as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajay, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
We're back.
Back with Rockin The Love.
I'm Robin.
And I'm Gil. And I hope that you have been rocking yourself, getting that energy of love moving in you today.
So I was thinking about, while we were on break, something you said about when you're not feeling it, then you can't give it, which reminded me of a song we used to sing in our choir at Agape, which it went like this. I love myself so much that I could love you so much that you could love you so much that you could start loving me. Right? And I mean, that just speaks to the whole thing. And another quote by David Hawkins, and numerous people, I'm sure, that says the more we give love, the greater our capacity to do so.
Mm. And it's funny, both of those remind me of a song, taking me back a little bit further to when I was younger, called Magic Penny. Love's just like a magic penny. If you hold it tight, you won't have any, but if you lend it or spend it, there'll be so many that they'll roll all over the floor. And there's that idea of when we give love and we open up to giving love, we're able to receive love and receive it back into our lives. And the same thing, when I can love myself so much that I can love you so much that you can love me. You know, it's everything is about circulation. Everything is about movement. Everything is about, which takes us to the energy of love. Love is energy flowing in our experience.
Yes. Yes. And our grief doula says that her friend Fotini, who's there with her in Mexico, says expectations always disappoint.
Mm.
Do we agree? Or your opinion on that, please?
Yes, I do. I mean, I just on the surface, Patini, I hear that as, for me anyway, is when I can bring my best self to something without expecting as a particular outcome, then I can move through it much better. Pardon me, and move into that where I end up feeling love because things show up that surprise me. When I have an expectation, I am more often than not somehow disappointed in what shows up.
Yeah, and I would say, that for the sake of argument, I'm going to just say that I kind of disagree, although I agree. I think that it's yeah, it's how you hold your expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can have an expectation of my kids doing something, or Gil doing something, or somebody doing something that I want them to do. For example, say painting the house, and I can come home and the house may not be painted, or it may not be fully painted, or it may be a different color than I wanted. And I can, if I can be in the moment and really assess things where they are, then sometimes I'm able to either see the gift in it, or I'm able to go, that's okay. Stuff happens, it's okay that you didn't get it done. Like, clearly it wasn't meant to be done in that way. So I think it's a tricky thing. I think, yeah, if I'm categorically expecting that love is going to look this way, or that something's going to happen this way, my way, and that's the only way, yeah, then I'm probably going to not be happy.
Yeah, it goes back to what we say, in spiritual circles all the time, and that is, I'm expecting the best. I'm expecting something that if I can expect the feeling of what's coming rather than the physicality of what's coming, then I can receive the energy of love in that way. I can know that this is good and very good. This is beautiful and fantastic and green when I get home to the house, and I wanted it to be white and black, but it's green, I mean, that kind of thing.
And Kent says expectations are essentially projections, not necessarily based in reality. Oh, Kent, that's a whole different show, because what is reality and what is based in it? But yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Expectations are our own stories in our heads,
And I think the less the less we're feeling able to share love, or the less we're feeling like love is in our life, less we're feeling that energy, the more we project out things that we think will fix it. So that's why the projection. So this is something that's going to make it feel different, whatever the projection is. They're going to take me to dinner on Valentine's Day, and then I'll feel like we're in love. Those kinds of things that we put out there.
Well, and not only feel like we're in love, then they'll be doing it right. They'll be doing love right, because this is the way it's supposed to be.
And the projection of expecting that when someone loves you, that they are going to how do I say it right? Anyway, I get stuck on the doing it right and feeling like I get criticized for not doing things right, when in reality I'm the one criticizing myself and projecting it out. That's the expectation that I have for what's coming back to me, is that somebody's going to tell me I'm not doing it right. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I've lived with you for 20 years. It makes perfect sense. But really, this is kind of a full circle conversation. This is really where we started. And this is actually why and where we started on the show. Because like Fotini said, at the end of the day, I mean, the expectations at the end of the day, we have to rock the love. We have to be able to get to a place of communication or understanding or letting go of our expectation. And so for us, that's where Rockin the Love came from, was really, Gil and I have a thing we teach in workshops called CALM, stay calm. And what CALM stands for is commit and love more. So in the middle of the argument, when, or whatever's going on, can I stop and breathe and commit to love? Know that, if it's a relationship, or even if it's somebody I don't know, still know that their intention is not to be my enemy or to harm me or to create havoc. Most of the time, I know we all know that those people, that's not their intention, maybe, but at the bottom of it, I still believe that they're here to be a good person and do what they think is right. And they're still coming from, their version of what they know to be love. So can we commit to that? Can we rock the love? Where can we rock the love in what situations?
Can I share something? I would like to share a poem that I wrote, or a writing that I wrote. I don't know that it's a poem, but I wrote it the other day. I was actually sitting at service, and it just came to me, and I downloaded it. It just showed up, and I wrote it, and I just want to share it because it's all about love. It's love is. Love is the way of the unicorn. Love is the way of the universe. Love is our way to our most unique selves. Love is our way to the vastness of our being. Love is the way you see me. Love is the way I see you. Love is the balm that brings rest. Love is the fountain of life-giving energy. Love is my gift. Love is my gift I give you. Love is my life. Love is your life too. Love is beyond all description. Love is the filling of my breath. Love is touching the remote reaches of myself. Love is embracing all that I am. Love is. Love is. Love is. Love is now.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. So I just invite you to take that love out into your week. And I invite you, if you are feeling the love and you can circulate currency, I invite you to donate to New Thought Media Network.
That's how we can be here every week.
That's how we can be here every week. And we're doing great things out there in the world, we, the New Thought Media crew, and there's vision to do a whole lot more of that. So feel free to send some love their way, and feel free to love us up at any of our sites. Just, let us know what you think. If there's something you want to see on the show, hit the like buttons. That'll just help us to move up on all these social media platforms and all that good stuff. And I want to send a special love and prayer out to Bill and Carol this week, as Bill is in doing some hospital work today. And we're just sending love to everybody there, doctors, nurses, Bill. And we just know that love does heal, And so rock it, y'all. Rock it this week. And we'll see you next week back here on New Thought Media Network.
Rockin the Love, noon on Wednesday.